If your feet feel numb, tingly, or like you are walking on cotton wool, your nervous system is sending you a signal you may not ignore. Karen felt it every morning for 2 years. Cold feet that could not warm up, a tingling that crept up her shins by evening. She thought that it was just part of getting older, but she was wrong. Karen is a patient of Dr. William, Japan's oldest practicing doctor. After he showed her 4 simple chair exercises, she slept through the night for the first time in 2 years, and it took only 3 weeks. And by completing this episode, you can get the same results. Today, Dr. William will guide you through those same 4 moves to stop the tingling and begin to restore the feeling in numb feet after 60. Every exercise is done sitting down. You can start the very first within a minute, and you will want to stay right through to the 4th, because that is the one that finally gave Karen her feet back. Now, before we begin, if your feet tingle, burn, or go numb at night, type the word feet in the comments. It tells us how many of you are quietly dealing with this, and it pushes this video out to more people who need it. Doctor, before we move a single muscle, let me ask the question everyone wants answered. Is this just poor circulation or something deeper going on? It is much deeper than circulation, and a landmark study from Kyoto University Hospital recently proved exactly what is happening. They looked at seniors suffering from that tingling, burning, and cotton wool feeling in their feet. What they found was astonishing. The nerves in the feet were not permanently destroyed. They had simply gone dormant from a lack of specific stimulation. Even better, when these seniors performed targeted lower limb movements, skin biopsies showed they actually grew brand new nerve fiber branches. A quiet nerve can be woken back up. That is the exact promise everyone watching needs to hear. We are not just chasing warmth today. We are sending a direct biological signal to help those nerves switch themselves back on. One quick word before we start. This routine is for waking up tired, age-related nerves. So if you live with severe diabetes or notice sudden changes, please keep your own doctor in a loop. Doctor, how do we prepare the feet before the main exercises begin? We begin by waking the pathways gently. Watch the images on the screen. First, sit tall in your chair with both feet flat on the floor. Then, slowly roll each ankle 10 times in one direction, then 10 times the other way. This immediately pushes blood down into the feet. Next, gently tap both feet on the floor 20 times, alternating left and right like a soft, steady drum. That is all it takes to tell your nervous system that a change is coming. We are now ready for the first real exercise. Okay, everyone be ready. Doctor, please take us into the first exercise. Exercise 1 is the seated toe raise and spread. If your toes feel stiff, curled, or disconnected from the rest of your foot, the nerve pathways that control them have gone quiet. And this move sends a direct electrical signal straight up those pathways from your toes, through your feet, and into your lower legs. If you can slip off your shoes and socks for this, please do, because bare skin against the floor gives your nerves a kind of sensory input they almost never receive anymore. The floor itself becomes medicine for a nervous system that has been wrapped in fixed soles for too long. Sit tall, both feet flat. Now lift all 10 toes as high as you can and hold for 3 seconds. Feel the pull along the top of your foot. Now spread those raised toes as wide apart as you can and hold for 2 more seconds. Then lower them slowly back down. That is 1 repetition. We are doing 12. Watch which toes answer you and which stays silent. For most people, the little toe moves the least, so give it your full attention on every spread. Karen described her feet as 2 blocks of wood every morning. Did this specific move reach her? By the end of the first week, yes. She told me her feet felt less like wood and more like feet again. Not fully, but enough to notice. Noticing is exactly where recovery begins. The next exercise builds on this. Okay, but before we dive into the next exercise, I need everyone who is watching to do something for me. Please tap the hype button on this video. Every single tap tells YouTube to push this session in front of more people sitting right now with cold, tingling feet and no idea what to do about it. Exercise 2 is the seated calf pump with a foot press, and it goes straight after the cold. If your feet stay cold, even when the rest of you is warm, your calves have stopped doing the job. The calf is the most powerful circulation pump in your entire lower body, And when it sits still for hours, blood pools down in the lower leg, and your feet are left starved of fresh, oxygen-rich blood. Nerve tissue is the hungriest tissue in the body for oxygen. So when it is starved, the tingling and numbness follow close behind. Sit tall. Raise both heels as high as is comfortable, rising up onto the balls of your feet. At the very top, press the balls of your feet firmly into the floor for 2 seconds. Feel the squeeze through the calf and the spread of pressure through the arch. Now lower slowly and control it all the way down. That is 1 repetition. We are doing 20 at a calm and even pace, about 1 full raise and lower every 4 seconds. Think of it as a second heartbeat for your lower leg. Please everyone, stay with us right through to the end, because the 4th exercise still coming is the one that finally gave Karen her feedback, and you truly do not want to miss it. Doctor William, looking at the slow, deliberate pace of the demonstrator, what did Karen actually feel during this one? This was the first exercise where she felt something shift in real time. By the 15th repetition, warmth had returned to her left foot, a warmth she had not felt in so long she had forgotten what it was like. That warmth is simply blood arriving in tissue that has been cold and quiet. And for anyone living with a neuropathy, it is one of the most hopeful feelings there is. Just watching that steady, rhythmic count on the screen, I can imagine the warmth building in the calves for the people following along at home. It looks almost meditative, nothing like the exhausting exercises people usually dread. And that slow pace is not optional, it is the medicine. If you rush this, you bounce on your ankles and the calf never fully squeezes. Slow and deliberate is what empties the veins and pulls fresh blood down into the foot. Now, let us look at exercise 3. Okay, everyone get ready. Go ahead. Exercise 3 is seated foot rolling with a towel, and it reaches a nerve pathway that most foot exercises miss entirely. The one running along the inner arch. The band of tissue along the bottom of your foot, the plantar fascia, is one of the most nerve-rich structures in the whole body. Years of thick-soled shoes and flat floors leave it understimulated, and those nerve endings go quiet. You do not need anything special for this. A rolled-up hand towel works perfectly. Place it under the arch of your right foot. Now roll your foot slowly forward and back from the ball of the foot down to the heel, pressing gently down as you go. You are not stretching, you are stimulating. Search for the spots that feel tight, tender, or completely numb. And when you find a numb spot, stop and hold steady pressure there for 10 full seconds. That sustained pressure gives the nerve a signal it has not received in a very long time. Roll the right foot for 60 seconds, then switch and roll the left. Watching the screen, there is something almost soothing about rolling the foot over that towel. Dr. William, you told me earlier this move also helps with balance, which surprised me. It does, and it surprises almost everyone. The nerve endings in your arch connect through a reflex pathway that runs up to the spinal cord, feeding your sense of where your body is in space, what we call proprioception. Wake those endings back up and your balance sharpens, which means a lower risk of a fall. All of that from a simple towel under your foot. When Karen first tried this, she could not feel the towel under her right foot at all. By the second week, she could. By the third, she could feel the difference between the ball of her foot and her heel as she rolled across it. That return of sensation was not a miracle. It was stimulation meeting a nervous system that was still able to respond. For anyone following along who finds their towel too firm or too soft, I assume they can simply adjust the roll. Exactly. Roll it more loosely for a gentler touch or more tightly for greater pressure. The goal is steady stimulation that you can feel, never a sharp or painful sensation. Now we come to the exercise everyone has been waiting for, the 4th exercise, the one that gave Karen her feedback. Dr. William, take us through what the demonstrator is doing here. Exercise 4 is seated shin taps and ankle circles, and it ties everything together. If your lower legs feel heavy or seem to switch off after you've been sitting for a while, the muscle running down the front of your shin, the tibialis anterior, has gone dormant. That muscle lifts the front of your foot when you walk. When it weakens, the foot begins to drag ever so slightly. That tiny drag is what catches a toe on a loose mat or a raised edge and turns an ordinary step into a fall. It is also supplied by the peroneal nerve, one of the nerves most commonly affected by neuropathy. So today, we are going to wake it up directly. Sit up tall with both feet flat on the floor and keep your heels planted. Now, lift the front of both feet, the toes and the balls of your feet as high as you comfortably can and hold for 2 seconds. Feel the muscle working hard along the front of your shin. Lower slowly. That is 1 shin tap and we are doing 15 repetitions. Then lift your right foot a couple of inches off the floor and draw 10 slow, wide circles with your ankle. 5 in one direction and 5 in the other, making each circle as large as you comfortably can. Set it back down and repeat the same 10 circles with your left foot. What if you feel pain? You may notice a sharp tingling spreading into your foot. That is often nerve tissue responding to the stimulation. It is your nervous system telling you that it is still there and still capable of responding. Karen experienced this on the 3rd day. She felt a tingling sensation running down the front of her right shin that was different from her usual neuropathy. It was sharper and more purposeful. She described it as feeling like an electrical current instead of a heavy fog. That difference between the dull, heavy fog of neuropathy and the bright, sharp current of a nerve beginning to wake up is often a sign that the stimulation is reaching the tissue that needs it most. Looking at those ankle circles at the end of the demonstration, it seems like they connect everything together. The shin, the ankle, and the foot all in one smooth movement. Are we finished now? That is exactly what they do, and no, we are not finished yet. The ankle circles carry the signal from the shin, through the ankle joint, and into the foot, linking the entire pathway of the lower leg into one continuous circuit. By the time you finish them, every part you have just awakened is communicating with the others. Again, that is why I saved this exercise for last. It does not simply strengthen a muscle, it reconnects the entire pathway. Now let us help everything settle. Place both feet flat on the floor and press them firmly into the ground for 5 seconds. Then completely relax. Next, gently massage the top of each foot from the ankle to the toes, using 10 slow strokes on each foot. Finally, gently shake both feet from the ankles for 10 seconds. Feel the circulation moving through the tissue that was cold and quiet when we first began. Dr. William, please give everyone a simple summary so they know exactly what to do tomorrow. And tell us how Karen is doing now. 4 chair exercises every single day. The toe raise and spread to wake up the nerve pathways. The calf pump to drive warm, oxygen-rich blood back into the feet. The towel roll to stimulate the arch and improve balance. And the shin taps with ankle circles to help prevent foot drop and reduce the risk of falling. Perform them every day because nerve tissue responds to consistency in a way it never responds to occasional effort. As for Karen, she now sleeps through the entire night. The tingling has not disappeared completely. Neuropathy requires ongoing management, but it has improved so much that it no longer wakes her from sleep. Her feet feel like feet again when she wakes up in the morning. She walks to the kitchen without pressing her feet into the floor just to feel something. She even wears the shoes she loves again. None of that came from a pill or medical procedure. It came from 10 quiet minutes in a chair every day, repeated consistently until her nervous system remembered how to respond. Everyone remember that numb feet are not something you simply have to accept as a normal part of aging. Try these 4 exercises today. Tap the hype button so another older adult lying awake with tingling feet can discover this video. Subscribe. Share it with someone whose feet deserve better. And be sure to watch the next episode. Oh, this is a good one. You definitely do not want to miss it. See you there.